Alright guys, welcome to our first video in this series on Death Knight tips and tricks in Season 2 Mythic Plus Dungeons. The first video we'll be doing here is Uldaman, Legacy of Tyr, one of the new dungeons in Season 2 from Dragonflight. We're doing it on a 17 here. This is our first 17, so there may be a couple mistakes like you saw right there off the rip, me eating that slam. So this first group here, there's not many Death Knight specific tricks here, but what you'll want to do is be avoiding that slam from the Berserker, obviously, which I did not, and kicking those Basilisk Spike Carapace casts, as well as the Geomancer Stone Spike casts. And that's pretty much all there is for that first pack there. Finishing off this Berserker here, we'll be moving on to the next pack. The way I'll be doing most of these videos, I think, is I'll be explaining what happens on the first set of ads, and if it's just repeats from there on, I'll fast forward with a little bit of commentary going through what's going on. But I don't want to play it at normal speed or else these videos will be super long and super boring. So, with that said, these next couple packs are all the same. There's just a couple Berserkers, a couple Geomancers, and a couple Basilisks. We'll be wanting to kick the Stone Spikes, like I said, from the Geomancers, the Carapaces from the Basilisks, all while dodging little slams from the Berserkers. Alright, now moving into first boss here. This boss has a couple important mechanics for you to know about. There's two frontals they cast. The first one right here is Skullcracker. You're not going to want to get hit by that. Balog has a frontal slash based on the tanks. You'll never want to be with the tank in front of Balog there. What else goes on? Defensive Bulwark is a kick that you're going to want to kick at some point. And then, for the most part, rinse and repeat until this phase, the Longboat Raid, where they jump up into the boat and start raining down fire on you. Once you get coordinated, well, if you have a group to coordinate with, you'll eventually want to coordinate where you'll be dropping these. If it's a pug, good luck, it's going to be chaos like this, because we look like we're a pug even though we're not. It's the beginning of the season. We'll work the kinks out eventually. But then after that, it's rinse and repeat for the rest of the fight. Dodging frontals, dodging fire, and then dodging lines. Alright, now speeding up here through the next couple packs. This pulls just a couple Geomancers, a couple Basilisks, a couple Leapers. Pretty much all the same here. The only new thing going on here is rock throwers, which will throw rocks. Nothing you can do there except dodge the swirlies on the ground. Pretty much it. This next pack, again, same type of deal. A couple rock throwers, a couple Geomancers, and then one big guy casting Brutal Slam once again, which, surprise, surprise, I ate that one. Alright, and then we move into Bromach. So this is actually a pretty good fight for Death Knight specifically. You're very useful on this fight because he summons a lot of ads. So you'll be wanting to Death Grip those ads in, or if you have Abomination Limb, use that, automatically pull them in. That'll help your group a lot to be able to cleave down these ads quickly. You just saw his first cast there, which is just an AoE ability that you'll want to dodge. And then this is one of the most important mechanics for this fight, Quaking Totem. The second this totem comes out, you're going to want to kill it immediately. It's doing party-wide pulsing damage. And I guess if you're playing a Blood Decay and watching this, you'll want to tank the boss inside of it, because once you kill the totem, the boss gets stunned. It's nice. And then for the rest of the fight, that's pretty much all there is to it. As you can see, there is a Geomancer in this pack, so you will be wanting to kick Stone Spikes when you see them coming out. And then that's pretty much it for the rest of this fight, yeah. You just repeat this phase a few times, depending on what key level you're in. You can see the totem goes out as well as the slam, so we're getting out of the slam, going to swap to the totem immediately. Trying to cleave this down as fast as we can. A couple just AoE pulses that the boss will do. You can't really do anything about it. Boss is stunned again. We have the ads in here. We want to be cleaving down this boss while he's stunned. As you can see, I tried to grip an ad right there, but clearly failed as I turned around. And here we are, just back to cleaving down ads, dodging slams, and repeating. This boss should be finished off in a minute here. Another totem goes out, actually, unfortunately, but I think we just ignore it and finish off the boss, which, yes, we do. And that's all there is to Bromach. Be checking the map. Not sure why I was checking the map, but onto this next pack. This pack starts getting a little dangerous for you if you're not careful. The Earthen Custodians has to cleave frontal, so never be standing on your tank like I'm doing right here. Don't do this. You will be cleaved. And then the Refty Custodians have an ability that's just Jagged Bite, which your tank can actually dodge if he moves out of the way quick enough. If not, it puts a nasty dot on him. You can also stun that guy to stop the cast, or you can use Blinding Light. I believe you can Death Grip them or Abomination Limb as well, and that stops it. A couple things to keep in mind there. You have a bunch of utility you could use to help keep your tank alive. As you can see, it's a pretty long cast, so you should be able to stop the majority of them if you have a coordinated group going at it. I did nothing there. I had Asphyxiate, I had Blind and Grip up, but I let my tank die. And then I think we fast forward here for a minute because he released and needs to run back. Pro tip, there's a mole machine at the start, which you can see him running back to right now. The mole machine takes you up to that second boss. So if you ever die and need to get back quick, just take that machine instead of running all the way back. Next pull is just another Custodian. You'll, pretty simple, just stop the Jagged Bites. That's all there is to this pull. And then we start moving into the third boss, Sentinel Talondrus. So Sentinel Talondrus is a unique boss because you can CC him. And you can do that with any stuns you have, or as you can see, actually it's a she, sorry. She. But she casts Resonating Orb on multiple players, which is those yellow pools on the ground you see. And the way this box works is she has 2 stacks of an ability that stops her from being stunned. And so you'll run her through 2 of those, and on the third one she'll be stunned and take damage. You never want her to reach full energy, but the way you stop her from reaching full energy is, you guessed it, stunning her. She gets full energy, she gets a big damage buff, and you will most likely wipe. She also casts Crushing Stomp throughout the fight, as you can see right here. You can Death's Advance that to not be knocked back and have 100% uptime on the boss if you'd like. And then that's all there is to this fight. So you can see we have some orbs going out. You want to drop those relatively close to each other so that your tank can easily kite her through all 3 of those to get her stunned. As you can see here, we had a nice tight little stack for him to go through. Looks like he had a little bit of trouble getting around that one, actually. Didn't Death Advance that knockback, as you see. And that's it for this fight. Yeah, not too many specific Death Knight things to do here besides, I guess, Death Advancing the stomps if you want more uptime on the boss. Moving into this next pack, we have one new ad, the Earthen Weavers. These guys have a couple abilities. They have Hail of Stone. Actually, there was an Earthen Weaver in the pack for this, I believe. But they do cast Hail of Stone, which you have to stop. It's not kicked, so you need to stun it, displace him, blind him, anything. And then as you can see, they also have that Stone Bolt cast, which you'll want to get as many kicks on that as you can. As well as still having those Earthen Custodians that will cleave your tank, so stay out of the way of those and don't get cleaved down with your tank. That's all there is to these pulls, and then that's just the next couple pulls here. We have a couple Earthen Warders, Warders and Weavers in the next couple packs here. Again, same thing here. Frontal on me, as you can see, I ate a couple of those, took some damage. Do that. Take Stone Bolts, stop Hail of Stones, and that's all that we got to it. Alright, this pack has another new enemy, the Runic Protector. So this guy, the big golem, has a couple abilities, Fissuring Slam. You just need to move out of those puddles, don't stand in them. And then he has this pulsing party-wide AoE Earthquake. Hurts a bunch. You might want to hit a Lichborn, or you might want to hit an Icebound Fortitude there to help mitigate some of that damage for your healer. And that's the only new enemy in that pull. This next area, the little cave area we have going on here, we have a couple spiders. Just nothing you can really do. You can stop pounces if you want. He just pounces, does some damage, so if you're quick enough on it, you can stop that with a stun or a blind. And then the big one are these bats. You're going to want to kick Sonic Screech, I believe is the name of that ability, yeah. But just kick those, stun those, grip those, blind those, anything to stop them. Any kind of displacement will help there. The reason I talked in my first video about taking stun is, while you already may have 2 or 3 stuns in your party, having a third stun just as a pseudo interrupt is great in a lot of dungeons. There's a lot of things you can stop with it. That's one of the reasons why I take Asphyxiate in almost every single dungeon I do. Alright, moving on to third boss, or fourth boss, sorry. We have a little bit, you'll see coming up, we have a little bit of trouble on this boss, but for the most part, this boss is actually very, very simple. He actually doesn't have too much health. As you can see around the room, there's a bunch of little golems that throw out little fireballs. You'll want to dodge those. You have that big circle underneath you. You'll want to spread those out. It's just a little bit of damage. If you want, you can AMS that to stop it. The unstable embers here. Just helps your healer out a little bit, so it doesn't have to heal you, top you off if you just AMS and don't take any damage. As you can see, we almost kill the boss before he even phases here, which if we had some more gear, we'd be able to do. And then he starts this second phase where you have to kill all of the small golems around the room while he splits the room with laser beams. As you can see there, don't get hit by the beam, it one-shots you like my healer got hit by, and our druid got hit by, and eventually I take one step too far forward and also die to that beam. Like I said, we're still learning these dungeons too. But that's pretty much this entire, like, ideally you're all together. You can kill them usually in one go around if your whole group is on it together. Also helps your healer a lot being grouped up to heal, because you're just taking pulse and fire damage the whole time. As you can see right there, apparently I stepped into the fire beam. Now seeing it again, it doesn't really look like I did, but the game said I did, so I'm dead. And that's that entire fight. We'll fast forward a little bit here so you don't have to watch us rezzing. Or maybe I didn't fast forward. Okay. Oh, nope, there it is. Alright. Then we move into the next area of trash. No one new here, just the weavers and the golem. You stop stone bolt, kick stone bolts, stop hail of stones, and then you just have epic stone golems doing thunderous clap. A lot of damage. You can line of sight that actually, which I don't know how many times you do that here, but that is something you can line of sight and not take damage from it, which is nice. It also, I believe, is a nature ability, so you could AMS that as well as AMZ for party-wide help. As you can see there, when they get bolstered, that hits really hard. Alright. This pack has a new enemy, the Earthen Guardian. So this Earthen Guardian has Blessing of Tyr, which you'll see is a big channeled ability right here on the ground you can see. And you do not want to stand in that. It gives them more damage done to you while you're inside of it. So you'll just want to kite outside of that and cleave down the rest of the mobs while he's in there. Again, there are custodians in this pull, so don't be on your tank and eat cleaves. And I believe that's all there is to this pull, yeah. And the next couple pulls are pretty much the same as this. It's pretty much the only dangerous thing here, staying out of those circles and not being cleaved. Next couple pulls, yeah, fast forwarding here because this is all the same. Couple Ebonstone Golems. Again, Thunderous Claps. You can LOS, you can AMS, you can AMZ, magic damage, or Lichborn, or Icebound. All of them work, but AMS being 40-second cooldown is just invaluable here. I didn't use it. Not sure why, but you can. Helps your healer out a lot, so he doesn't have to use a spirit like at the end of a pull right there. Moving into this room, a bunch of the same. A couple of Earthen Warders, Ebonstone Golem, the Warders, a couple kicks there. You have their shield, as well as, I forget the second cast's name, but we'll see it right here in a minute. That one right there, it was too fast for me to see. But they do have 2 kicks. You'll want to stop both of them. You can displace them, stun them, blind them, all the above. So, not too hard there. Alright, moving into the Infinite Zone. These guys hurt a lot. These guys and the following mobs. So the Infinite Agents, they're not too bad. They just have a hasten cast that you can kick. It gives them haste. You'll just want to stop that. Anything can stop it. Knockups, displacement, stuns, all of them. And then they also have a tank. I don't believe Time Blade is actually a frontal, so it's just a tank hit and the slow it puts on them, I believe. They don't have to worry about frontals here. But it's kind of always good practice to not stand in your tank, because usually there's frontals. So, these Infinite Time Reavers, here's where Death Knight can definitely shine in this dungeon. So, as you can see, there's a blue stacking debuff on me right there, in the top right. And so that debuff is just a stacking magical damage buff that refreshes indefinitely while the Infinite Time Reaver is alive. A couple things you can do. I believe you can line of sight it when it's coming down and it'll fall off. I tried to test it there, but it didn't work. But more importantly, you can AMS, and it will eat any damage you take, as well as drop off the stacks that you currently have. Because as you know, AMS, if you cast it before a magic ability goes out, it completely negates any dot effects that it has on you. So when you start getting up to maybe 6-7 stacks, you can AMS, drop those stacks off, help your healer a lot, so he can focus healing on other players that have the buff on them. That's really one of the best things about Death Knights in this dungeon specifically, is you can really help your healer out with those at the end. As you can see, I did end up line of sighting one of them right there, because you can get the enemy in a nice little corner right here. This next pull hurts a lot. There's 2 of them, so I guess we pull some whelps first. Not really sure why we single pulled these whelps. Oh, we didn't. We changed it. Chained it. All right. But yeah, you'll see here I do use an AMS early there. I'm not sure why I used it so early, but you can also drop an AMZ for your healer at this point if there's a lot of group damage going out. Like I said, I have a group of players I usually play with, so my healer will call out if he needs an AMZ. If not, I usually save it, because he'll usually want me to use it in an emergency if we need it. That's why you don't really see me drop a lot of them in this dungeon, because there's not a lot of emergency situations. Except it's just eating one-shot mechanics like that beam on 4th boss. Alright, so moving into the last boss. Couple mechanics here. He has a knockback you can death advance to keep uptime on. And then he also has his dot he puts on a couple people. I believe it is called Time Sync? Yes. It goes on 3 players. From what I can tell, it's random, so you can't really pre-AMS it to not get the dot on you. The best you can do is just AMS it to just absorb some of the damage it does to you. Couple other things for mechanics on this fight. There's a tank frontal, as you saw right there, and the big one right here is happening right now. As you see, there's all the swirlies on the ground. You never want to stand at them until this phase. During this phase, you get a gigantic haste buff for standing in them, so that's when you'll want to stand in them. When you're up in the normal world, I believe it does damage and a haste reduction on you, so you do not want to stand in or near those when you're upstairs. But once he sends you downstairs, you'll stand in those. First of all, you get the big haste buff, and then second, it shrinks the puddles. Because on Tyrannical, these puddles keep growing indefinitely, and you will very quickly run out of room. I think even on this Fortified, we ended up running out of room here towards the end. But that's all there is to this fight. Just keep grinding away, and eventually he'll be down. There's the time sync. I don't think I AMS this one. No, I don't have it up for 6 seconds. But like you can see, we started running out of room here because we placed some pretty bad swirlies at one point. But I guess we got a good rewind right here, which allowed us to soak some of those up. On Tyrannical, this can definitely become a problem if you place very bad circles. So always try to stack circles on top of each other and don't throw a random one out in a corner of the room or something. And there we go. That's what we have for Uldaman. A couple DK specific things there, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, that's the first video in this series. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.